Is that an uncomfortable silence? When I'm teaching junior doctors to like do procedures and stuff, one of the things, so quite often they are so focused, as they should be, on making sure the procedure goes well and they've got all the bits for the drain or the lumbar puncture, or they're so focused on all that, walking it through their head. You know, you can see it on their eyes. They don't want to get it wrong, and as they should be. All of that is right, especially if it's the first time. But one thing I've noticed is that there can often be long pauses whilst we're focusing on the thing that we have to do, forgetting the fact that the thing that you have to do is on a human being, and there's no conversation, and there's no talking to the patient. And I myself, you know, that was something that I had to deal with coming up. So I had to get so comfortable with the procedure that I was able to be human and interact with the patient. And you know, different people from different backgrounds, you might try a joke and it doesn't work, and with some people you try and find something to say. But there's one question that I learned to ask that always seemed to have positive responses in breaking the ice. So I learned to ask, what would you be doing if you weren't here? And you'd be surprised at the responses that I've got. Some guy was a movie sword maker, a very well-known mythical trilogy he made the swords for. Some people were actors, some people were would have just been at home relaxing. You know, some people would have been working, but it always opened the door to, you know, a bit more of a deeper human connection. And again, that's what that would do in that situation is that it would put me at my ease, because it's a question I've learned to ask. And I'm able to have that interaction with the patient, whilst it puts the patient at their ease, because they're able to talk, and you know, actually having a human connection and a positive interaction with your doctor when they're about to do a procedure with you has been proved to reduce the risk of, you know, complications later. If the patient has confidence in me, I'm able to make them laugh. Quite often the procedure goes very well, and subsequent to that there are no issues. And that's one of the tools that I might give my junior colleagues and say, well, you know, I understand that this is the first time and you've got to get it right and stuff, but do you realize that because you're in your head, what you've done is you haven't talked to the patient. This might be your first time, but it won't be your last time doing this procedure, and this might be the only time they ever have a lumbar puncture or a drain or something like that. So let's take the focus off you, focus on the patient, and try and put them at their ease. Not only does it have soft potential positives in the fact that they like you, but it has hard potential positive outcomes with regards to the fact that the complications afterwards are better. And it got me thinking, because if they don't do that, the patient might be thinking, what's this doctor doing? The patient's allowed to be in their own head, potentially getting themselves more stressed. And simply because somebody's trying hard at something but not necessarily looking at the other person as a human being could be the cause of unnecessary negative interaction and friction. How often in life are we having interactions with people not realizing that the other person is a human being? We've gotten so used to the thing that we're doing that we forget the humanity of the other person on the phone. Sometimes I get frustrated at people who will cold call, but it's not their fault, it's their job. And sometimes it's easy to be firm but rude. But actually, I can be firm and nice. I don't know what kind of day that person's having. I don't know why they're in. I don't know how they feel about their job. I've often said, when you go somewhere and you have like bad customer service and stuff, like if you don't like your job, that's not a problem for me. That's not my fault. Quit. You can quit. And as much as I think that from a manager's point of view, that's a reasonable thing to do, reasonable to say to somebody who is treating somebody badly, but I think from a human interaction point of view, we're often not good at looking at the other person in our interaction and realizing that they are a human being and having empathy or compassion. That's definitely something I'm working on. But yeah, it's a conversation starter. What would you be doing if you weren't here? It opens the doors to looking at the other person as a human being.